Our final lesson in Unit 9, British colonization, takes a look at triangle trade. How are the economic pursuits of the British colonies connected to the European countries, but also connected to the countries of Africa? Triangle trade is simply a network of trade routes from these three regions of the world that roughly form a triangle. But it's not the shape of the trade networks, it's the materials, it's the goods, it's the items that are being traded that are of most importance. First, if we start with the Americas were a source of new raw materials, whether it be timber, whale oil, tobacco, and other farm goods that are loaded on board ships, taken across the Atlantic Ocean to the European countries, where in those factories they can be turned into manufactured goods that can then be sold or exported to other countries. So some of those exports, some of those manufactured goods are put on ships and sent to Africa, where they'll be used to trade for or to purchase slaves from African kings. And then those slaves that are acquired in Africa are taken over to the Americas, where they will be forced to harvest the raw materials in the Americas. And this cycle just continually perpetuates. But sometimes it works in the opposite order as well. Here you see that the goods that are manufactured in the Americas or manufactured in Europe are sent to the Americas. Some of the raw materials and some of the manufactured goods of the British colonies are sent to Africa, and then African gold or the raw material is taken from there and shipped to Europe. All of this benefits the European countries the most in a process known as mercantilism. This is the key idea driving the triangular trade. A synonym for this would be commercialism. All of this promotes globalization and the spread of goods and products, but also ideas and in some situation, disease. And just so you're aware, mercantilism, to break it down, mercantilism is when a country is trying to get as much wealth as possible, whether it be money or resources, by trading with other countries, but exporting more than they're importing. So they're always trying to sell more than what they're bringing in. If we take a look at this in history, it makes sense. But, sometimes we see these historical things come into the modern life, oftentimes in movies. And so if we take a look at history in the movies, we can see that the idea of triangular trade is in a very popular movie series known as the Pirates of the Caribbean. Disney does a nice job of filling this movie with all kinds of symbolism of the East India Company, Great Britain's most powerful and dominant trading company that would have shipped goods back and forth from all of these places. And you can see here Captain Jack Sparrow and all the other characters in the movie with that symbolism. Competition for these trade routes and the competition for this wealth being built through mercantilism will result in our next unit, which is a focus on the French and Indian War, as the British and the French vie for power and trade resources and networks within the continent of North America. So until then, take care.